This is my WalkAway video. I think it's best that I give you a little bit of background about how I was brought up and raised. I was born in 1977 in South suburban Chicago, Cook County. And I wasn't really born to a political family, at least that I can remember. I was born and raised, I can't say born, I was raised in a Southern Baptist church in Calumet City, Illinois. And I went to church every Sunday with my family. And in 1983, my dad had lost his job or got laid off at Republic Steel. And he joined the military, U.S. Army. At 31 years old, he was. I was about 5 years old, 5 or 6. And so he left, you know. And pretty much from that point on, I didn't have a father in my house. And let me tell you, from experience, I truly believe wholeheartedly that that was my downfall as a kid, you know, and the direction my life was going to go for the next 22 years was obviously because of my choices, but I didn't have a man in the house to really beat my ass, you know, figuratively speaking, literally, whatever, right? So I ran all over my mom. I did. I was a rebel, and I was counting down the days until I turned 16 just so I could drop out of high school. I absolutely hated school. I didn't really hate to learn, it's just I hated school. So I'd say within 3 years of me dropping out of high school, I landed myself in prison. It was a drug deal that went bad. I got shot 3 times. I shot that guy twice, and I got a 9-year prison sentence. I'm not blaming anybody but me, because I actually know what personal responsibility is. So it was all my fault. It was my doing, what part I played in it, and I played major roles in my life. I'm the creator of my life, I like to think, anyway. So everything that's ever happened to me, good or bad, I had to say that I played a part in it, you know? It was either my bad decision, my poor decision making, or maybe I made some good decisions, you know, along the way. So from there, and by the way, I've always been a drug addict. I mean, of course, not in the past 12 years, but the majority of my life, I've been a drug addict. From smoking weed the first time at 11 or 12 years old, to shooting heroin, shooting methamphetamine, smoking crack, doing lines of cocaine, whatever. You name it, I pretty much did it. And so when I got out of prison, I decided to try heroin for the first time. I don't know why I decided that. Probably because I'm an addict, mentally in the head, and I have an addictive personality or whatever, right? So I'll tell you what, I did heroin for 6 months when I got out of prison. And in that 6 months, I lost every piece of anything that I ever had. Property, material things, self-worth, self-esteem, everything, right? So I ran, man. I ran from an addiction that at the time I had no idea, right? That no matter where I went, I always took me with me. So I can run anywhere and everywhere possible, but I can't outrun myself. But so I did. I jumped on a Greyhound in 2005, January, and took it to Southern California. And I went out there to sell magazines door to door, right? Travel the country. I saw the ad in the paper, I called it, and they paid for my bus ticket down there, and now all of a sudden I was in a magazine crew. That lasted like a few days. I couldn't knock on doors like that. I didn't feel right about knocking on doors. I didn't feel right about lying to people's faces and telling them this big spiel about just whatever, just so they could buy some bullshit magazines from me, okay? So I quit. But then I was in a situation. Because I quit, I was stuck in California, and I'm from Illinois. I didn't know anybody out there, and I had no money. So you can imagine what happened next, right? Well, I found myself homeless, and I was in Anaheim, the city of Orange, Santa Ana, on the Santa Ana riverbed, and it was a homeless community out there. It still is a homeless community out there. It's massive, actually, on that riverbed. It was pretty big when I was out there too. But I went back out there in 2016, and it's massive now. There's so many more homeless people out there. There's so many. So anyways, I stayed on that riverbed homeless for about a year and a half, 2 years. And what got me to change my life around, what got me to get clean and clean myself up was guilt. And no, not white guilt. I had 2 kids out there. I had a boy and a girl. And this was in 2006. And both of their mothers were homeless women as well. And I just could not take the guilt. My daughter, definitely, she was born first, and then 7 days later my son was born. But the way my son was born, he was born at 20 weeks gestation. He was 1 pound 10 ounces, positive for methamphetamines. And I played a role in that. I played a major role in that. And I couldn't take it. It was at that moment that I realized that I was the most selfish, self-centered man, or sorry, excuse for a man, that I've ever known. You know, it was a day of reckoning for me. I couldn't take it, man. I could not take the guilt. Just couldn't. I can't even explain the amount of guilt and how heavy it was right now. I can't explain it with mere words. So I came back home and cleaned myself up. You know, and since then, in 2007, I landed a pretty good job. You know, I'm in the union now and this and that. So why I'm walking away, why I'm walking away, right? I'm in the union, and the first time I got a letter from the union suggesting on who I vote for, I was happy, you know. I was just happy to be a part of society. And in my head, I haven't lived in society, at least any kind of a productive member of society. I haven't. So I was just happy to do it for them. You know, they negotiate my wages. They give me the health insurance. I'm going to vote for who you want me to vote. No problem, right? And I did. I voted for Barack Obama without knowing a thing about him. I knew he was black, and I wanted that, actually. I wanted the direction of our country to go that way, you know, and I didn't really check anything else about him. That's what I wanted. So, and that's what I got. The man ran on a platform of change, and we got that. So I can't complain about that. So the reason I'm walking away, and I this time I'm walking away from the Democrat Party, who knows? In 4 years or 6 years, 2020, damn, 2 years. I don't even know what year it is, right? So in 2 years, I might vote for, or I will probably vote for Trump in 2020. And after that, I don't know who I'll vote for. I don't even know the state of our country by then. Who really knows? Because it's getting crazy, guys. It's getting real crazy. It's been crazy. It's just now all on the surface now. It's been like that. I can promise you that. I know for a fact it's been like that. It's just all been subtle and underneath, you know. But in my head it's crazy. This is not the United States that I grew up in. This is not the United States that I want my children to grow up in. And that's the reason I will never vote blue again. I got kids, man. I've got not just the 2. I've got 3 other kids, you know. And currently my kids range in age from 3 to 12. And I care about them. So I really don't care who the union tells me to vote for. I don't care whose hands and whose pockets. I'm doing it for my kids. I'm doing it for my family, because it starts at my house with my kids. But let me tell you a little story though. My daughter that was born in 2006 in California, Orange County, I ended up getting custody of her last year, December of 2017. And I'll never forget when she first came. I've been like Trump. Let me just say this. I've liked Trump for a while. I didn't really know too much about him, but I just know, you know, I liked him. I mean, he is like the American dream. And I don't really care if he started off borrowing like $1 million from his dad. The man has billions right now of his own money. You know, I know for a fact I can't do that. And if any of you guys can do it, more power to you, right? So anyway, my daughter, I got custody of her last December. She's been with me about 11 months now. And when she came in, I think Trump was on the news or something like that. And she goes like this. She goes, "I hate Trump." And then she was all for Hillary, right? And so I'm like, why? Why do you hate Trump? Who told you that? Like, why exactly do you hate him? And why exactly do you hate Hillary? Well, at the time she was 11, and I really didn't expect her to know an answer. But nonetheless, I'm doing this to prove a point to her, right? So fast forward to last Saturday, a week ago. Yeah, a week ago today, Trump was in Murfreesboro, Illinois. And I didn't give my daughter a choice. I took her. Well, I took her and my family. And I took her for a reason. And she was into it, you know. She was clapping like, oh, yeah, yeah. And so after the rally, I asked her. I said, what do you think? What'd you think? Oh, it was good. It was good. I said, okay. Did you hear anything racist by chance coming out of his mouth? No. That's what she said, right? So I'm like, all right. Well, that should tell you something, right? Don't believe everything you hear. Now, I don't really care who my daughter votes for when she gets of age, you know? As long as she makes her own decisions. That's it. As long as she hears things with her own ears and makes her own decisions. And not based on what everybody's saying, right? Because that's the problem with this country. With a lot of people in this country, you know? And it may have been my problem too. It may be my problem. I really don't know. Sometimes it's hard to see when you're on the inside. I'm upset, you know. I don't want our country to go the way it's going. I certainly do not want globalism at all. I don't want open borders, and I'm not sure if these guys think that they're more enlightened than us, the mere peasants we are. You know, I really don't know, but I'm not ready to give my country up like that. I am not ready to give my country up. So, and I'll fight for it. I mean, there's more than one way to fight, right? You can fight with your mouth. You can fight physically. A lot of people are fighting on the internet, whatever. But I will fight for my country, and I will fight for what I believe is right. I'll fight for my kids. I'll fight for my friends. I'll fight for my family. I'll fight for the truth. I'll fight for what's right. Open borders isn't right in my head. From my point of view, open borders is not right, okay? We got enough criminals over here. And trust me, I do not believe that whole caravan is all criminals. I don't believe that. But I don't believe they're all women and children either. I don't believe they're all just people looking for work. See, I got common sense, man. I know these people got common sense too. So I don't even know why they're trying to lie to people. They're trying to lie to us, knowing that we know they're lying. And I don't get it. I don't get it. Who knows, man? But I know this for a fact. And I know this from dealing with people in the past. My own experience. These people are on a code of silence, man. They will not come clean. Period. I promise you they won't. They won't talk about shit. They won't talk about it. I know they won't. Code of silence, man. I don't know if you guys get that, but I mean, what we consider a code of silence, trust me, what they got going is a code of silence. They won't talk about shit. They won't. You might get one peep out of somebody, but they're gonna pay for it. So anyways, that's my walkaway story. I mean, it's not really a walkaway story. I guess it's more about personal responsibility. It's about whatever. But all I know is this country's messed up, and I am voting all red this midterm. For one reason and one reason only. It's not for the GOP. It's not for the Republicans. I do think I have conservative values. And let me tell you one other thing about that too, right? Because the side of the left, for me, they do have a persuasive argument. I mean, they do pull at heartstrings, right? I mean, I watch CNN sometimes. Not because whatever. I want to hear what they're talking about. And I'm tired of hearing sound bites, right? I need to know what they're talking about. And they do pull at my freaking heartstrings, man. Of course, man. I want to help people. I do. I want to help people that are in pain or having a rough time. You know, I think it's in my nature for the most part. And so when I'm confused, when the waters are muddy, I always go back to one thing, man. I go back to principles. Principles will guide me the right direction when I'm confused about things or when my heartstrings are being pulled. I'm against abortion. There's one principle. I'm pro-life. And just because, and I've been involved in 2 abortions in my younger years, and I've since repented. I stand firm on pro-life now. And it's not just because I had a vasectomy, right? I stand firm on pro-life. What do you want me to do, man? I got 5 kids. Come on. I'm too old to be having kids. So it's all about the principles, right? When the waters get muddy, go back to your freaking principles. Are you pro-life? Yeah. Who's pro-choice? The left. Real simple to me. Real simple. So, anyways, that's my walk away story. It probably ended up being just rambling on, right? So